Good afternoon, YouTube. Good afternoon, guys. As you see where we at. You see we're in a hotel, and you know I'm not on vacation, so you know there's something wrong with the truck. Guys, my truck is down. I have a little bit of issue with my DPF def system stuff. Currently at the Peterbilt right here in Birmingham, Alabama, Fitzgerald Peterbilt, and we've been down since earlier today. We were down since yesterday actually, and I got a whole nother video on that, which we're gonna post that video after this, because that video is about the whole breakdown situation. I just wanted to take some time out now that I'm in the hotel, just relax and chilling. I want to make a load board video, guys. I want to show what loads are available within the CRST network. I want to show what options you guys have available for you guys coming in new to CRST. For you guys, you know, whether you're lease purchasing or whether you're coming in as an owner operator and you're gonna get on the flatbed side just joining in. There's a lot of good freight within the CRST network. There's a lot of good flatbed freight. You know, some are really good, some are not so great. But in my opinion, the CRST flatbed general freight side, you know, in my opinion, is far better than the spot market, far better than the DAT, far better than truck stop. You know, as you guys know, if you have your own authority, you know that the rates right now are down. The rates been down for a long time already. You know, they've been slightly climbing up, going back down. But right now, you know, those of us that are leased to a bigger company, you know, we are seeing some pretty decent rates as far as, you know, direct customer freight. So, you know, I just want to take an opportunity out to show you guys some of the freight that we have available and just have a dialogue, have a quick conversation. It won't be a very long video, but I kind of want to show you guys the freight that's available. Whether you're doing, you know, there's a lot of freight that's coast to coast. You know, a lot of freight that's like 2,000 miles and up. There's a lot of freight that are like regional freight, and there's also some freight here that's, you know, that's a little day run, you know, couple hundred miles. There's a lot of local runs too, which is kind of what I wanted to get to, guys. I wanted to get to, is it worth being OTR or regional? Are those two segments or categories of trucking where you just sleep in the truck for an extended amount of time, or for a couple of days at a time, or a week at a time when you get home on the weekends? Is OTR / regional, because regional is a form of OTR, just lesser time. Is OTR / regional better than local, or is local better? Who has the better quality of life? Who enjoys more time? Who makes more money? Because we could talk about enjoying as much time as we want, guys. We could talk about home time and quality time and all of that, and that's excellent. I spend my home time with my family all the time. But when it comes down to the money, who's making the more money? Who's making more money? Is it the local guys, or is it the regional guys, or the OTR guys? I mean, OTR is up here. You know, OTR, if you bought that life, you OTRing it out. You know, if you making that sacrifice, you know, in my opinion, you making a bank. You making the most money possible. In my opinion, OTR is king. OTR, if you were able to stay out weeks at a time, months at a time, your bankroll should be looking stupid. Now, then we have regional, which is what I do. I do regional because I have a family at home. I get home on the weekends for the most part. Sometimes I skip a weekend here and there, depending on the money, depending on the freight, depending on what's moving. For the most part, I get home every weekend. Now, what I don't believe in is local work. So I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of heat for this. I know there's a lot of, you know, local channels out there of guys working local and guys taking full advantage of that, making their money. And guys, to each his own. If that's, you know, that's your preference, that's your preference. But in my opinion, local does not make as much money as OTR and regional. Y'all can hate me if y'all want to hate me. Some of you guys that do local, if you want to unsubscribe from my channel, it is what it is. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. Local, in my opinion, does not make as much money as OTR, as regional, when you taking into account everything you're going through on a day-to-day basis. When you're taking into account driving to the warehouse that you work for, working a 14-hour shift or 11-hour drive clock. I don't know exactly how it is that it works with local as far as the clock, if it's 14 and 11 drive, I don't know, but based on what I've seen, based on my knowledge, it looks like local guys are just running back home, getting a couple of hours of sleep and running right back, getting up at 3, 4 in the morning to be right back at the dock at 6 or at 5:30. Is that really a better way of life? Or, is it, what's really going on, guys? I mean, a lot of guys that do local, what's the truth behind it? I know, is it really the fact that you want to be home every day? Or is it an external factor? I mean, is it the wife at home? Is it your girlfriend telling you that you can't do anything? Do you have that situation at home where it's like, it's either you do local or we're over? That's a tough one, guys. That's a tough one. Depending on the type of man you are, depending on how you got things set up at home, I've heard of horror stories where females are giving men that ultimatum of either you come home every day, I don't care what time you come home, either you come home every day or we're over. There's a lot of variables to that. Because are you gonna let your woman go? Are you gonna put your foot down and be like, nah, I'm not with that. I'm gonna get home when I get home and I'm gonna make my money, and you either gonna stay or you gonna leave. It's a tough situation. I want to be politically correct, and I don't want this to be one of those conversations where it's blue pill, red pill conversations. And this is not a fresh and fit podcast, and this is not this whole woman's rights versus man needs, and I don't want that to be that type of conversation. However, those conversations are needed sometimes, especially within trucking. Why did you get into trucking? Did you know what the trucking lifestyle was? Were you aware that you were going to be out multiple days at a time? Did you do your research? Did you tell your wife or the female in your life or the man? Guys, I'm a guy. I talk from a guy's perspective. Pretty much a man's channel is an open deck, flatbed, step deck, RGN work. There's not a whole lot of females in it, so I'm mainly talking to guys. But it could work vice versa. Does your man, your boyfriend, your husband, your baby father, do they know what you do in its entirety? Do they know the type of work that you do? Do they know what's required to make the most money possible? And then do they know what to do once you get that money? Do they know how to flip that money, make the money double, make the money triple? Do they know how to invest that money? Do they know how to keep that money coming in and growing it? As you have it coming in, what are they doing to make it bigger? So, let's look at the board though. Let's take a few moments. Let's look at the board. Before we talk about local work or not, I don't have access to a local board because CRST is primarily a OTR / regional company. Let's look at what they have just so we could have some real-time data, and then let's talk about what you would get if you don't do this, instead you do local. Because most local jobs, from what I know, you're working for another company. You primarily are doing food services, or if you are doing flatbed, you're doing flatbed for Home Depot or Lowe's or some building contractor, and you're driving the little small trucks to the job sites and this and that. Are you gonna stay a company employee, a W-2 worker for a bigger company for the rest of your life? Is that where you're gonna retire as a local driver, or Do you want to come to regional and have the opportunity to open up your own company, to open up your LLC, to build business credit, to build your personal credit, to maybe have your own fleet at some point, maybe hire a driver or 2 or 3? You know, these are things that I know are a possibility with what I do with regional / OTR work, but I don't really see a lot of that going on in the local work area. And I know, I'm gonna digress for a second. I know because at one point in time, even I was considering local work. At one point in time, even my female was getting on my nerves about it, being home and this and that. And you know, I was like, I'm gonna look at what was available. That was early on in my career. That was before we started making real money. Then at that point, it's like, hey, like let's keep the money coming in. But I was looking for local work at one point, and I was on Indeed, I was on the job websites, and I was seeing what was available for local work. I was seeing the hourly pay. I was seeing the hours to work for the day. And at that point, I had a decision to make. I was like, yo, babe, like on some real stuff, like I'm not doing this local crap. I'm not doing that local stuff. I didn't get into trucking for that. I didn't get into trucking to have a job. I'm not going to have a job as a truck driver. I got into truck driving to build stuff. I got into truck driving to raise capital, to build business credit, to do everything that I need to do to then be able to have separate businesses on the side. I didn't get into trucking just, you know, and again, I want to be politically correct, but again, this is a man's channel, and I just want to say it blatantly. I didn't get into trucking for my female to tell me what I can and cannot do. As bad as that sounds, as crazy as that sounds, but you know what? A lot of you guys need to make a decision in regards to what it is that you want to get out of this. A lot of you guys need to either play with the big dogs or play with the little dogs at that point. And in my opinion, the little local job, that's little dog stuff. Like that, you're not gonna make real money with that. I'm sorry to say that. You're not gonna make real money with it. And I hope, you know, this video it gives knowledge to the people that are looking into trucking and the people that are even in trucking and considering, I want to go to a different company. I want to go to a different somewhere else. Or should I do local? Should I do regional? This and that. You know, it all depends where you're at in life. And it has I think that local work has a lot to do with your partner. If your partner is not understanding, if your partner not on the same page as you, and quite frankly, man, if your partner just runs the show, man, if your female wear the pants, if she runs the show and she dictates to you, it's either you home or you out, bro, what you gonna do? What you gonna do, man? Like I do big loads that pay a significant amount of money, and I gotta stay out a couple of days at a time, couple weeks at a time, and it is what it is. What am I gonna do? Not make my money? My money provides for my female. My money provides for my kids. My girl doesn't even have to work. She works because she likes to work and make a couple of dollars to go do her nails or whatever. Even though I give her money for it, she just likes to have that independent feeling. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying your female shouldn't work, but at the same time, it's like I've seen these stories where these guys are like, damn, man, my girl's like, if I don't get a local job, like she's gonna break up with me. So, bro, if your girl's giving you an ultimatum between either it's your career or it's me, the fact that she even put you in that scenario already tells you she's not the one for you, bro. She don't want to see you do great. You know, she might be a selfish female and she's really only thinking about herself just because she might not have much going on at home. But as a truck driver bringing the money in, you're supposed to be able to pay the bills, have her comfortable. But for some female, that's not even enough. Some females is like, I'm too bored. I guess they're bored. Like, just make her go back to school, make her pick up a trade, make her do something, man. But just make your money, dude. Let's look at some of these lows. All right, guys, let's look at this low board. Let's look at the CRST low board. Let's see if anything that I'm saying makes sense. Maybe there's just no money out in regional or OTR. But let's see together, guys. This is the CRST low board. Right now, I'm in Birmingham, Alabama, at a hotel, sitting still. Let's look all over. Let's look at a 1,000-mile radius. Let's open up the search from today to 2 weeks from now. I just want to do a broad search. I'm not going to look at everybody's independent city or none of that. I just want to look at a broad search. And let's just see what they have going on over here. Let's start. We could either do soonest pickup date, lowest estimated deadhead, so the closest possible, or let's just do highest total rates. And let's start scanning a little bit from the highest total rate. So let's take a look. So guys, so we have right now the highest paying load we have from Arizona to Washington, 6793. We have Ohio to Oregon, 5,500, 5,000. And again, these are more towards the OTR side. We're looking at 1,900 miles, 2,399, so 2,400 miles, 1,500 miles. These are a lot of the routes, a lot of the runs that people do that stay out. So you will take like a load like that, Arizona to Washington. You will pick that up. And, you pick that up, let's say, on a Monday, try to have it dropped off by Friday or something, or if they open on Saturday. It just depends on where you are, what your deadhead is to get there, what the receiving and shipping hours are, when can you get loaded. But you should be able to do that within the week. So, pretty much 6,800. And then from there, you go get the next one. You got, these are pretty much what the lows are at. 317, 5, these are all from Louisiana. These are on a step deck, so as you see. So like I mentioned in previous videos, so CRST has primarily flatbed and step deck freight, more flatbed than step deck. But you'll see your good amount of step deck loads sprinkled in here and there. There are no RGN loads, however. With my RGN trailer, I do have to utilize specific agents, and their loads do not hit this load board, and also external load boards like the DAT for my freight. But overall, when I was on a flatbed, this is all I was using, and when I was on a step deck, this is all I was using. And the rates seem to be pretty good. You also have your little, crappy loads here and there, like this one, Pennsylvania, Nevada, 4,800 on almost 2,400 miles, only $2 a mile. Mississippi to Maine, 260 a mile. Again, I call a low like that, 260 a mile, not the best, because I'm used to higher freight. However, that low right there is probably beating most of the spot market. And maybe the company you're working with right now, maybe you're looking at that 260 like, oh man, that's a big jump from what I get per mile. Or you might not. You might be with a great company right now, and that 260 is like is a little bum low compared to what you get in. But either way, however you analyze these loads, I'm just showing you what's on the CRST load board. So you have Alabama to Colorado, 4,600. Mississippi to California, 263 per mile. Texas to Ohio, 4,100. So this is pretty much what you have here, guys. It's pretty decent freight. As I mentioned earlier, some of them are really high, some of them are kind of low. It all depends on where you're trying to go. It all depends on what you want to move. As you see here, the step deck loads, they're paying significantly higher. This step deck load is 3,500 on 872 miles, so just over $4 per mile. The step deck low we saw a little while ago was almost $4 a mile. I think it was like 360 something. But obviously with the step deck, it's a little bit more work than the flatbed. You're taking taller things. Sometimes you're taking oversized things. And you want to just get, you're getting paid a little bit more because it's a little bit more of a specialized trailer. Just like my RGN pays more because it's more specialized. But this is typically what you're looking at. You got Arizona to North Dakota, 3,500. So you see, guys, I'm gonna scroll a little bit faster. Damn, Florida, man. Florida's always doing something like that. Let's keep going. Charleston, South Carolina to Fort Drum. That's a military load right there. I know that one. Anything that has a fort with it, that's a military load. And most of the military loads, they pay like that, around $350 something, $4 per mile. And the RGNs and the step deck pay even more, obviously. But anytime you see anything with a fort, Fort Drum, for whatever, that's usually a military load. So yeah, guys, we just keep it going. We keep it going. And this is pretty much what we got. We could adjust the filter. Let's see what's just around here in Birmingham where I'm at right now. And this is what's at. Birmingham always got a lot of freight. You could hop from Birmingham right now, go to Colorado for 4,600. You could go from Birmingham to Oklahoma for 1,600. You could go up to New York to New Jersey for 23. You could go to South Carolina. That's a pretty good one. I would have done that one. Birmingham, Alabama to Summerfield, North Carolina. That'll bring me right back home to my North Carolina area. So I would have probably took that one if I had a flatbed around here. But this is what we're looking at, guys. Pretty much when you are driving a flatbed and a step deck within the CRST network, you get all your freight from right here. And this is the little local work I was talking about right here. So you do like 144 miles. You're making $777 for the day. So that's pretty good. $5.38. That's a pretty good rate. But then it's all about, what are your expenses at home? How much money do you need to survive? And how many of these loads are you going to have access to? Like, that's a good little rate per mile, but that's not a lot of revenue for the day, depending on your circumstances. So are you gonna have 2 of those per day? Probably not. Are you gonna have that guaranteed every day? Probably not. Just being realistic with what you as a lease purchase driver and as a owner operator, you know your own cost to run your company. You know exactly how much money you need to make. You know exactly, what the load is you need to take. And if you don't know, then you need to find out, because you need to calculate all your expenses and you need to figure out what's the right rate per mile that you're able to take. Look at another, local run, as I say, from Alabama to Alabama, $600, 438. Obviously, the local runs have the highest rate per mile, but they have the lowest revenue. So again, if you could run 2 to 3 of those a day, then you're golden. But the probability of you doing that are very small, very small. But yeah, guys, this is what CRC has going on right now. Let's look at, let's say, somewhere else. I don't know. Let's go up to, if you are from, let's go to Maryland. Go to Baltimore. Sorry, that's right, man. Because I'm always in and out of Baltimore ports. I like going to Baltimore. Let's go to Baltimore a week long. Let's do the lowest estimated deadhead. Virginia, only 85 miles deadhead. Up to Rochester, New York, 1450. So this is what you would call regional routes. Regional routes are anywhere between 400 and 600 and something miles. It's a load that you pick up on a Monday, you drop off on a Tuesday, you pick up another load on a Tuesday, you drop off on a Wednesday. So every day you're like getting loaded, unloaded, or every other day. Versus, let's say, look at this load from Pennsylvania and Nevada, 23, almost 2,400 miles. That's an OTR load. So, and that's only paying $2 a mile. So that's not where you want to be. We have New Jersey to Massachusetts, 1,300. Flat van reefer. This is the first time I've seen that. I haven't been on this low board in a long time because I don't get freight from here that much. So I haven't seen that. Might be a new setting. Flat van reefer. I haven't seen that before. But look at this one. Hillside, New Jersey to Pennsylvania, 637. So look at the rate per mile. You look at that rate per mile. Oh my gosh, $7 per mile. That's great. But look at your revenue. You only make $637 for the day. You got to do at least 2 of those to make bank in a day. Unless $637 minus your 25% minus your fuel. If that money adds up to you being able to pay all your bills, then that's great, man. I know a lot of people with paid off trucks, paid off trailers, paid off houses, and they just don't need to make a lot of money to sustain their lifestyle. And they could do that every day, and that works great for them. But is it going to work for you? Is that where you're at in life? Or are you in a building set, you're trying to gather revenue, gather capital to make something happen? It's all about you. This is not a one size fits all, guys. But let's look at the highest total rate. So that was the one from earlier. Yeah, all of these are going to be pretty much the ones we saw from earlier. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna scroll up for a little bit. I'm gonna scroll, keep scrolling, and then whatever you see, if you like it, just pause it, review it, and when you click on any one of them, it'll show you the reload opportunity in the area. So let's just pick this one, Indiana to Jacksonville. If you click on it, it gives you all of the rates, pickup time, delivery time, what the all-in cost is, freight description, aluminum products, the weight, and if you come right here to reloads, it show you what's coming out of that area. Obviously, my filters are way too off because I got 1,000 miles, so never mind that. But this is, if you click that, that'll show you what's coming out of the area. But yeah, guys, this is what you can expect from a company where you could get direct customer freight from. These are the rate per miles. And remember, we're in a down economy right now. Things haven't turned around completely yet. Look at this one, Lawrenceville, Pennsylvania to Virginia, 413 miles, 2,200, $5.33 per mile. That's a good one for a Conestoga. There's like one or two guys in the fleet that I know have a Conestoga trailer that I know them myself. Savannah, Georgia to Covington, Kentucky. I just did that low, but the RGN one paid a little bit more than that. And I ran that one. You saw the video I did. I ran that one with my other dude, Jesse. We was running that up to Kentucky the other day, last week. But hey, guys, this is what's available to you. So with this type of money, man, if you're able to stay out for a week or two, if you want to stay OTR and just stay out and only come back home once a month, or stay out for 2 months or come back home on the weekends, this is the type of money you could expect. The longer you stay out, the more money you put in your pockets. The shorter you stay out, the lesser money you put in your pockets. Oh, look at this going to the Bronx, from North Carolina to the Bronx. I would probably do that because I'm from the Bronx. So I'll probably take that load, 600 miles for $2,000, $330 a mile. I'll probably take that load, deliver it, and just go chill with my parents' house in the Bronx for a little bit. But I know a lot of other people probably wouldn't take that. But yeah, guys, this is what we got going on. I'm gonna scroll a little bit more, and if you like these things, this is what to look. This is what you're gonna be doing per minute. As you see, most of the loads are 500 to 600, 700 miles, and then you got the ones that are 2,000 miles, 1,500 miles, and it's primarily a OTR and a regional company, with the exception of a few little local runs here and there, which we don't really pay too much attention to. But yeah, guys, give me a second. All right, guys. So you saw a little bit of the low board, guys. You saw what was going on within the CRST network. You saw freight for flatbed. You saw freight for step deck. You saw Conestoga freight. If you're coming in new to the company, you're gonna start off on the flatbed side, and then work your way up to a step deck, and then from there is up to you. You could do RGN work, but you got to bring in your own RGN to the company. They don't have any RGNs that you can rent from them, so you got to buy one outside and bring it in. Just like the Conestoga one that you saw, that was for a driver, whoever just owns the Conestoga, and it's just leased on to CRST. But primarily it'll be flatbed and step deck loads. So that's what's going on within the regional / OTR world within CRST. And yeah, guys, it's up to you to make the decision. What type of lifestyle you want to have. It's up to you to make the decision in regards to, do you want to be home every day? Do you have to be home every day? I have no problem with local work, guys. I mean, listen, if you have small kids at home, newborns, if you need to be home, you need to be home. Just understand the money aspect of it. Just like I understand the money aspect of it, because I have kids as well. My kids are teenagers, and I don't have any babies at home. My youngest one is 8, and my wife takes care of her. When I come home, I take care of her. We all understand. We all on the same page when it comes to my household. But I understand if you have an infant at home, and you gotta help you have to help your wife out with that. So I get it. My whole thing with local is, I want to make sure that you're in local for the right reasons. I just want you to understand that you can potentially make more money on being over the road, even if it's regional or OTR, and I want you to have the right reasoning behind being local. I don't want the reason behind you being local to be because you're scared your wife or your woman or your girlfriend's gonna leave you. To be honest, I don't want to hear that. I want you to be local because you have kids at home you need to cater to. I want you to be local because you gotta take care of your wife if she has a medical condition or whatever the case is. And I want you to be local because you need to be local. I just don't want anybody to be local and give up a lot more money and give up the opportunity to build their own business via a regional or OTR route because of certain threats at home, or because a certain partner or family members have some type of hold on you that is saying, no, you either pick me or you pick the truck. Which one you gonna pick? You already know what my stance on that is. And quite frankly, man, your wife, your female, females tend to respect you more when you can stand firm on 10 toes and say, no, this is what we're doing. This is how much money we're gonna get for this amount of time, and this is what we're gonna invest. This is what we're gonna do. If you could just stand firm on your beliefs, stand firm on your plan, females, and again, I'm talking from a male's point of view. Females like a man with purpose. Females like a man with a plan. And females like a man that they can respect. They might not like you. You might not be liked, but you're going to be respected. Because one thing that I know is that if you're very soft, if you're very weak around your female, like they have a tendency to just run all over you if that's the case, and women just plainly don't respect that. To be honest with you, I know a lot of females that be like, man, like my man is just, I could walk all over him. I tell him what to do. I wear the pants, and it just little by little every day they just lose more and more and more respect for that man. That's the man that they usually end up cheating on, and that's just the man who they just plainly tell what to do. I mean, your female should always have a voice at home, and she should always be able to tell you and guide you and give you support. But at the end of the day, you as the man of the household, you as the one providing and paying all the bills, ultimately you have a decision to make in regards to how much money you need to make to sustain your lifestyle and to sustain your household. So let's keep pushing, guys. Let's keep trucking. I want to see all you guys doing regional routes. I want to see all you guys doing OTR routes. And I want to see you guys building businesses. I don't want to see you guys just doing W-2 work for the rest of your life. And plainly, just for company benefits. You saw what happened to the guys. It's happening. It happened with the big yellow company. It happened with a bunch of different companies. These dudes got 10, 15 years working there with that mentality. Oh yeah, they're gonna take care of me. They're gonna take care of me. My 401k, my retirement, all of that. And bam, the company just says, I'm done with y'all. Done. And what have you done the last 20 years? Besides just making another man rich. What have you been doing the last 20 years besides building their business up? Now they went out of business, they bankrupt, but they got all their money on the personal side, and they could just go start up another trucking company. What are you gonna do? Because you had that local job for 20 years and now they out of business. What are you gonna do? You didn't build up any business credit. You didn't build up an LLC. You didn't let that LLC mature with time and get years on its belt. You didn't lease on to a company. You didn't try to open up your own authority and let that authority season with time. You didn't do none of that because you were too busy about being home every day. But that's it, guys. Like I said, my truck is down. I'm bored. I had a little while, couple of minutes to talk to you guys, and I don't really talk to you guys a lot. I mainly just be action, show you guys all my lows and securement and the logo from here to there. So this is actually probably my second video or so where I just sit down and I'm just talking to you guys frankly, just having a dialogue with you guys. And again, some of you guys might like it, some of you guys might not agree with me. I don't need to be liked or agreed with, but I do need to be respected, and you have to at least respect my chain of thought. You have to respect where I'm coming from and understand that everything that I do is with a logic. Everything that I do is with 5 years from now time frame. Whatever I'm doing now is already calculated. The results from what I'm doing now is calculated from 5 years from now. So even if I'm not yielding a revenue or result from what I'm doing right this moment, I already know 5 years from now it's gonna pay out. And that's how I live my life, and I hope you guys live your lives that way too. I'm just here to give advice and just share with you what I know. This video probably got a little bit on the personal side because I was talking about females and wives and what to do at home and what not to do at home, but it comes hand in hand with trucking. You see a lot of truck drivers divorcing, a lot of truck drivers that just go through hell, man, because they just, in my opinion, you know, the job is very difficult, and if you don't have the right partner to help you and back you up, you know, a lot of times, more times than not, you end up in the gutter, in the bottom, and you're gonna live your whole life trying to pick yourself back up, and I don't want that for you guys. So as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.